Miss Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
In Miss Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
In Miss Universe podcast.
Oh, sorry. Oh, goodness gracious. I know. The first thing you hear is me laughing. Seriously, Emma? Come on. So, welcome to our Friday, I should say Friday podcast delight episodes. How about that? I changed my um, naming on my TikTok when I do it was word of the day, and I call it actually morning delight. I feel morning delight. Word of the day is a little heavier. I don't like the energy of that, so I changed to because I went and I did a recording with the kids, and I called that the afternoon delight. And there is something more positive on those words. I don't know. I feel the energy is different and lighter. Let's put it this way. So I'm maybe gonna be using that as well for my podcast delight. We need a delight today after the heavy Monday with my accountability and really deep through this. And also, I have Lulu's digging through the. I'm gonna wash it, honey. I'm gonna wash it tomorrow. It's a cover that I have on the very nice, fluffy orthopedic bed um, for the dogs. It's basically a memory foam little bed for the dogs. Like, I can sleep on it. Seriously, I have the room on that, plus the dogs and me. That could be awesome. Oh, I think I've done that for a minute with those guys, actually. So, yes, a little delight. Let's be light on some of our talks here because, again, the awareness is, I think, one of the biggest things we need to look for is the awareness. Are we aware of our own self? Are we aware of where we are? Are we aware of being delightful on a Friday? Are we aware of fill out the blank? But being honest with our own self. This is one of the hardest things, seriously, to do is being honest with ourselves. I've got Delulu a few times. Oh, yes, I did. And universe brought me the reality back, bringing back the mirror for me to look myself. And I was like, yeah, I know. That was the most ridiculous things I did. Yes, I know. I was Delulu on that. But being honest of situation, what needs to be resolved, it's just taking an inventory. It's not much looking over and cry me some rivers. It's more at the level of, okay, we got a situation here, so how do we move from where we are to where we want to be, where we're supposed to be? This is more into the direction of that. And shifting, seeing a different perspective on situation, seeing the bigger pictures, which sometimes it's hard when you're in the heart at the core of a situation to move yourself as an observer. For me, one of the biggest lessons I learned, and I know somebody's going to say, oh, hey, stop talking about the fire. Well, actually, there were a lot of life lessons on this one. One of the biggest one was moving myself as the observer. I was down and under to no home, nothing, figure it out on your own, to have a leg up and really observing how the universe works, its magic, and being amazed by it, because I was amazed in the middle of every single thing, and me going up and down. Like I said, when I went into the garage the first time, I had a game plan. Oh, my game plan was, I'm going to go into the office. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start to retrieve stuff. And, you stand in the middle of the rubbles and you're like, what am I supposed to do? You grab one thing. It's like, I'm lost. It's too much. So having the leg up and the people within an hour or two were expert in restoration and fires and damages like that, water, fire damages, really step in, did 2 rooms for me, and search for me for other things. And it would have taken me, well, I was over there for a month and a half, something like that, 2 months max, retrieving things and trying to see what's keep, what's give, doing what I got to do, getting and get it going. And that to me was very empowering to see we think we're alone, but we're not. And let the magic stepping in. I had to push a couple of things around, but I would say the overall was being in your canoe, canoeing into pure darkness and, go with the flow and have faith and have certainty in the middle of uncertainty. Building yourself up. You can be Delulu in there. That works for me, actually. The Delulu worked just fine for me at that point. And having to get going. Because one of the other thing, too, is when you have children, pets, and other people who depends on you, or animals, or whatever it is, then you need to keep going. And finding that strength to get going one day at a time, not projecting yourself and say, I will be here in 6 months. I'm going to do, nope. It's what I'm going to do tomorrow. What is the next day tomorrow? And continue to do this over and over and over, one step at a time. I just recorded, and I think by the time this one is out, I believe those were on my YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel, I just created something because I thought about, trials and tribulation. It's nice to talk about it. It's very nice for me. It's encouraging because it's not about ranting. It's not about, because I know some people are saying, well, you talk too much about that. No. There is something behind it. There is a reason I talk about things that has happened, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because people who've gone or are going through it and can hear the message can help them. If you're about to go through things like that, then you got something that can help you to hear the story. How often have you heard story where you get people saying, well, oh wow, that's similar to my thing, except different situation, different people, but this is the same circus and monkey and circus. Yes, similar monkey and circus. So what I did, because I wanted to see a little bit more about how do we think clearly when we are under pressure, and what kind of tools can be beneficial for people. And I don't know, I heard and I felt that was one topics, because I did my meditations. I don't know how many meditation I posted on my YouTube channel, so there is different meditation for different needs, and those are free to access, by the way. So if you want to go on my YouTube channel, which is Emma Digalo Universe, go for it. And I think I got the link into my comments section for that, for my episodes as well. But I'm like, when you're deep dew, your feet in the goo, or up to your nose, what do? Because a lot of people share their stories. But what are the techniques to think clearly when you're under stress, when the shoo-shoo hit the fan? What do you have to help you to be grounded? Okay, from losing your job unexpectedly to maybe breaking up with someone, losing somebody, to losing your house, your car got damaged, or your bicycle, or whatever it is. What do you got as resources in your toolbox? You have to see it this way. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, maybe we need to look at this and do something about it. So I got basically 8 different little, I will say, tool in a toolbox, that it's 8 different episodes for my YouTube channel, which is about 10 minutes I think the longest one would be 15 or 20 minutes max talk, but giving a perspective of what can we do. And I'm going to be honest with you, there is one of them. Oh boy, that was a thing, practice self-compassion. I think this one I had to tell one of the most horrifying story that happened to me earlier this year, which my dogs in my life actually were not in a good shape and pretty much in danger, very high danger actually. And I had to be extremely cautious on what I have done at that moment to disengage in that situation, being with somebody who was extremely abusive, not only verbal, but it almost turned to physical, and not responding in a way that my life and the life of my dog would have been in danger. And that was something in tool number 6 that I talk about. It's how to stay grounded, because one of the biggest things is when, and I have made dumb decisions, seriously, in my life. I'm accountable for every single crap I've done in my life. Jay can still talk, actually. Jay is shaking his head like, yep, Emma, I know what you have done. But I have done things in a heat of the moment, not being grounded, based on fears or being challenged, feeling overwhelmed. And I made the wrong decision. I always said, when I was younger, and I'm going to take the daddy scene for that, I have made wrong decision when I was 18. That was, looking back, was, wow, that today I will do the opposite of what I have done when I was 18. Why? Because it's based on the wisdom and the life I've lived that really brought me. But when you're 18, which most people assume they know everything, no, you don't, until you really live life, not via TikTok, not via YouTube, but the real life, and you experience those experiences and in your journey, you're going to acquire those tools, and wisdom is one of them. And I'm looking back, just as an FYI, because I don't live in the past, but I smile because I know I have done ridiculous things, take the wrong decision that I end up not working either, but I assume it would. And that is the interesting part of it, is being able to look back and say, I learned from that experience. I learned from what I have done in the past, and I'm not reproducing it because I refuse to do that. It's the universe giving us the opportunity to revisit some cycle to see if we're passing the test. Set your boundaries, but you have to learn to be grounded. So, and I feel that in a time of when things go haywire, people can get overwhelmed. I do get overwhelmed. I do, well, more so now because of everything that happened last year. It's not only the fire, but it's going through all of the stuff I've gone through last year, even though I'm on strong ground right now. I'm not on a shaky ground like I was. It was not even a ground at this point. It was the abyss of darkness. You can still be overwhelmed. So you need to use techniques, because it could be more than one you can use at the same time, to really ground yourself. It's like I talked about it. I talked about the body, your spirit going in and out of your body like a yo-yo. This is what being on shaky ground is. It's not being able to center. And sometimes our mind will, feeling a danger, feeling it will be too overwhelmed, will put us in a flight or fight mode. That could be denial, could be a flight or fight mode response, or being so overwhelmed that you read something that is not that bad, but it's translating in your brain that is the end of the world. And that happened to me a few times actually. Then I had to go back and just read it again. I'm like, oh, that's it. Okay. But at that time, it's like, oh my God, that's the end of the world, because you're too overwhelmed. So I created that, And it's free. It's gonna go on at the end of the month of August. It's gonna go on my YouTube channel just to give those tools to help, because it's not that easy when you need those simple, easy tool. You don't need to make it complicated. What I love is make it simple so people can do it very easily. And it's different tools. There is, I said, there is 8 tools that I'm going to share. And those tools, for me, you can change them. So you can maybe using one tool one day, another tool another day. Because we grow, we change, we evolve. So some stuff that used to work doesn't work anymore. So we need to continue to grow. That's like everything else. And I found it fascinating. So I did that because I wanted to really bring some very simple technique. Don't need to be, like I said, I can do complicated, but why make it complicated when you can go from A to Z directly without any issues? But having that possibilities helps so much more. So think about it. Think about where you are in your life. Think about what you can do for your own self, and think about everything that can be so empowering for your own life. That's what I love. So that was, I see, it wasn't that bad, isn't it? It was a little bit better than it was a little bit better than anything else, isn't it, today? Because again, life is too short. Sometimes we find things to be a little bit more complicated than we want. And it's so much easier and so much better when we can find simple solution to something that could be a nightmare. And I have seen it quite often when we're complicating our life. But staying true to ourselves, being able to get that awareness. And I think when you have that sense of awareness of who you are, you can recognize when things are shifting in your body. That's another thing too. How do you feel? How do I feel right now? Am I calm? Am I feeling jittered? Am I feeling nervous? What kind of energy is circulating in my body? And when you do those exercises, you start to learn who you truly are. You listen to your body. That's what I love. You listen to your body, because your body will tell you the truth. Your brain will be delulu once in a while, but your body will not lie to you. That's why a lot of chiropractors use telekinesis, and people use telekinesis because your body will tell you what it needs and not what you want. That's, I know, that's another thing for another day. But think about where you are, and if you feel stressed, then maybe it's time for you to learn to unplug, quiet the noise, and have some peaceful moment for you. Even a 5 minutes peaceful moment, it's a lot. It's a gift. So, all my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast. Podcast.